I'm worth not much, sir, but I can cook. Those were the first trembling words she spoke, and the very words that would change the lonely rancher's life forever. If you're listening right now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more emotional, heart-touching Western stories just like this one, because this one is going to stay with you. The winter wind was sharp the day Clara stepped off the dusty stagecoach. Her hands clutched a small cloth bag, her eyes lowered, her dress worn at the edges. People stared, some with pity, some with judgment. After all, she was the mail-order bride nobody wanted. 3 men had already rejected her before even meeting her. Rumor said she was too quiet, too thin, too plain, too insignificant. But none of those men knew what she had endured, nor what she carried in her heart. Sam Dawson stood at the edge of the road, hat low, boots sunk into dirt. A tall, broad-shouldered rancher with gentle eyes but a loneliness that wrapped around him like an old coat. He hadn't planned on sending for a bride. But the ranch got too quiet after his parents passed, and quiet had a way of turning into sorrow. So he wrote a letter, short, hesitant, and somehow, Clara had answered. When she stepped toward him, she didn't smile. She looked frightened, like someone used to being told she wasn't wanted. Before Sam could introduce himself, she looked up with those soft, unsure eyes and whispered, "I'm worth not much, sir, but I can cook." Sam felt something inside him stop, a mix of guilt, tenderness, and a desire to protect what looked so breakable. "Ma'am," he said softly, lifting her bag for her, "you don't have to be anything except yourself. Let's get you home." The ride to the ranch was quiet. Clara stared out of the wagon as if memorizing every tree, every hill, preparing herself for a life she wasn't sure she deserved. Sam stole glances, wondering who had convinced this woman she was not much. Her hands were folded tightly in her lap, trembling only when she thought he wasn't looking. At the ranch, Clara moved as quietly as a shadow. She cleaned without being asked, cooked meals so warm and comforting Sam felt emotions he hadn't felt in years, and she stayed out of the way, always stepping aside, always apologizing. And each apology cut Sam deeper. One evening, he found her in the kitchen, kneading dough with tears slipping silently down her face. "Clara? Did someone hurt you? Did I say something wrong?" She shook her head quickly, wiping her cheeks with flour-dusted hands. "No, sir. I'm just grateful. No one's ever been patient with me before." Sam leaned against the doorframe, heart heavy. "Clara, don't call me sir. My name's Sam. And you don't owe me gratitude. This is your home too." But Clara only nodded softly, still unsure, still carrying ghosts. As days turned into weeks, the townspeople started talking. Some whispered that Sam had married a woman too plain. Others said she had no spark. A few men laughed, claiming he should have waited for a prettier bride. Clara heard the remarks whenever she went into town for supplies. She never defended herself. She only lowered her gaze and hurried away. Sam noticed her growing quieter, shrinking into herself. One night, after a particularly cruel comment from a store clerk, Clara returned home with shaking hands and watery eyes. Sam found her sitting on the porch steps, staring at the dark horizon. "What did they say this time?" Sam asked gently. Clara swallowed. "That I'm not good enough for you. That you deserved someone better." She looked down at her hands. "Maybe they're right." Sam sat beside her. "Clara, look at me." She lifted her gaze slowly. "I didn't send for someone to impress the town. I sent for someone to share a home with. To build a life with. You're more than enough." Her voice cracked. "Why? Why am I enough for you?" And in the quiet of that night, Sam told her the truth, that he'd spent so long believing life had nothing left for him, that when her letter came, gentle, sweet, written with hope despite her shaky handwriting, he felt something warm again. You brought light back to this place, Clara. You brought light back to me. Clara's tears fell freely then, not from sadness, but from the unfamiliar feeling of being valued. Their bond grew after that night. They shared meals at the table instead of separately. They talked about their pasts, hers difficult, lonely, marked by unkind people, his filled with loss and silence. Sam taught her how to ride a horse. Clara cooked dishes that filled the house with comfort and healing. Slowly, carefully, gently, love began to take root. But life has a way of testing even the softest hearts. That summer, a wildfire swept across the valley. Sam rushed to save the horses while Clara ran to gather what she could from the house. Flames climbed fast, smoke thickened, and soon Sam realized Clara was nowhere outside. Panic gripped him as he charged into the burning house. He found her trapped under a fallen beam, coughing, struggling to breathe. "Sam," she cried, voice thin and frightened. He lifted the beam with every ounce of strength in him, grabbed her, and carried her out into the night air. The moment they reached safety, Clara choked out, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't want to lose your things." Sam held her face in his hands. "Clara. Things can be replaced. You can't. Don't you see? You're worth everything to me." And that was the moment the last, fragile wall around her heart finally broke. Months later, as the ranch slowly recovered and the land healed, Clara became someone entirely new, not a woman who whispered apologies or shrank under insults, but someone who stood with quiet strength beside the man who had taught her she mattered. She baked for neighbors, helped those in need, and even the townspeople grew to love her. They saw what Sam had seen from the first day, a gentle soul with a heart worth more than gold. One autumn evening, as the sky glowed orange and the wind carried the scent of pine, Clara stood beside Sam on the porch. She rested her head on his shoulder and whispered, "I used to think I wasn't worth anything." Sam wrapped an arm around her and kissed her forehead. "You're worth more than you'll ever know, Clara. To me, you're everything." And she smiled, a real smile, full of belief and warmth, because she finally knew it was true. Her journey had started with trembling words, "I'm worth not much, sir, but I can cook." But it ended with a new truth, one she carried proudly. "I am loved. I am worthy. And I am home." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. More emotional Western stories are waiting for you, and trust me, you won't want to miss the next one.